Oh,
Man, y'all are in for a doozy on this one.
yes, sir.
Is she still laughing?
No, thank God she's not laughing anymore. She went, I gotta stop laughing.
Just do it again. Get her going. Might as well start the show off.
I didn't even have to say anything.
Now everybody gets a little insight to what it's like living with Carrie Smith.
So, for all of you that don't know who's laughing in the background, my mom is back there laughing her butt off while we're on the road to the Hot Shoe 100 in Owasso.
She's all bright red, embarrassed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the show.
And then you got Padre back here drinking beer. And then Aaron. There's Aaron. Live.
Did he tap?
Hello, everybody.
Did you get him like a pony keg?
Oh, no. He just grabbed a tall boy IPA.
Oh, we'll have to tell the story about when we were coming back from picking up my race car that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to share that one.
We'll share that.
We'll start the show and talk about this weekend, and then we'll share that story.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Hittin the Chip with Jake and Jordan. This is episode 14, and this one's entitled Outlaw in the Rain. So we'll get into that here shortly. But yeah, I'm Jordan Smith. I'm the driver of the 13S GAM and here host of this here podcast. I'll pass it over to the guy that's pixelated right now.
Pixelated. Sorry, everybody. I only got 2 bars, but yeah, Jake Smith here, driver of the 89 GAM, currently on the road, like I said, to Owasso, Michigan, and co-host of this here fun podcast where we like to have laughs and good times and get my mother laughing as well on the show. So, yeah, we're in for a good show tonight.
Yeah. All you got to do with that woman is just turn and look at her funny and say some random word like pickles, and she starts going off.
Like what's this? I didn't even have to say a word. She's giggling like Betty Rubble.
Betty Rubble. Oh, dear God. Yeah. Growing up with that intense laugh was quite entertaining when we were young. She has literally stopped restaurants before in the middle of the restaurant, like they're full service, and stopped the entire store, please.
We got a free meal from Texas Roadhouse one time.
That is true. That is very true. I do remember that. They said that they've never seen like their entire staff smile at the same time, so they comped her meal. All due to her outrageous laugh. So, anyways, we are going to get into the show here. Got a lot to kind of go over in a short period of time. Like Jake said, he's kind of out on the road, so hopefully, network availability will help him stay on for as long as possible tonight. But we're going to be covering last weekend's races at Colorado National Speedway. We're going to be looking at what's ahead, not only for Jake and our race team, but also at CNS coming up as well. Just some other things for us to talk about. There's some points that we wanted to bring up tonight based off of some conversations that we were having with fellow drivers and competitors at CNS this last weekend. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned. While we wait to kick into this, all of that, we're going to give a little shout out to our presenting sponsor in AAA Service. So bear with us.
I know he's down there just making noises, stalling. He just puts so much work into keeping this act going.
Hey. Yeah, Mandy's still home. Her friend's gonna pick her up like any moment. Can you do like a loop around the block or something? Perfect. Okay. Yes. All right. Thanks. See you soon.
Be like Jake, leave it to the pros. Yeah, be like you. We should just use you in the commercials, but
I'm telling you, one of these days, you're just going to put me in the commercial.
Yeah.
It'll be just as fun.
It'll be just as fun. So, anyways, we had the 1859 vodka, and it brought the house down with the Outlaw figure eights at CNS. So you had the Outlaw figure eights, we had the Bandoleros, we had the late models, and then we also had the, I'm drawing a blank,
Grand American Modifieds.
Grand American Modifieds. Yeah, I
Really?
guess it slipped my mind since we didn't compete this last weekend, which I got to say was really weird sitting there watching it when you're used to
It was.
being there and participating. So every time I still look at that car as it sits in the garage, I just, you're just
It just
disappointed.
doesn't seem real.
Yeah, doesn't seem real. Yeah, it's surreal. One of these days, I'm gonna open up that garage and it's gonna be like, oh, it never happened.
Oh, yeah.
But kicking it off here, the night started off very promising overall. Some, Mother Nature played a part in this, and which we'll get kind of into. Started off wasn't bad. Like the weather was cooperating, and then had some sprinkles here and there. Practice got delayed one time, and you thought it was going to be done. This is why I'm a firm believer that I should have been a weatherman in Colorado, because you could be completely wrong and still have a job. 100%.
100%. Six-figure job.
Yeah. Like, they were calling for no rain whatsoever all week long, and then you get to there on Saturday, and of course, yeah,
Black.
Yeah. it was rough, but so they had to kind of shift around a little bit of practicing, but it was a lot of fun seeing all those Outlaw figure eights there. I do believe there was a total of, hold on, I think it was 15 total. I think there was actually more than that. I don't know if there was one or two of them that didn't start that night. But 15 ended up starting the main. But starting off with the Bandoleros, they got through their heat races. Everybody got through pretty much all their heat races and everything just fine. When it came to the intermission, right, like you could start to see the weather making its way towards the racetrack, and and you knew you didn't have very much time, because it looked like just wave after wave after wave was going to be coming, like looking at the radar and everything. And they put off the circle drags, and it started, about halfway through there, it started sprinkling. Me personally, I was more or less questioning, like, what the hell are you doing? Why aren't you trying to just get the races in at this point? Because the circle drags are just a halftime entertainment show. You want everybody there in the stands, because it was packed. It was packed there last Saturday.
Well, the fact that they had like 20 circle drags enter too was like, maybe we shouldn't have like actually done this with 20 of them. If there was like 8 or something like that, like, okay, it'll go quick. But like 20 of them, it was like, okay, what are we doing here?
Yeah, well, and to me, like, you're seeing the rain, like it was heavy dark clouds, and you're like,
Right.
There's no way, like, unless we start right now, there's going to be no way this is going to possibly get rained out. And yeah, they went off with again, context. Jim was not there last Saturday. I don't know where he was, but he was not at the racetrack. So I know Greg Witherwax was the one pretty much well in control of the operations for the weekend. And I don't know what the conversations that have been had, but to me, in my mind, like, I would have just canceled the circle drags, try to get the Bando kids off. They were a carryover from last weekend because they canceled their race, and then they added them to the schedule Saturday. And they got the circle drags going. I would have canceled it. Got the circle drags going. As soon as they got done, it started just downpouring, and then it kind of let up a little bit, and then they called back the kids to go back into staging. It was still kind of sprinkling at that point, and they're sitting there waiting, and then they start rolling the junior bandits out, and then it started coming down, and I'm like running over to the like the entrance to the track to the starting grid area, you know, and I'm like, there's no freaking way I'm letting my kid go out on that racetrack for how slick it looked, you know, like you knew it was going to be a dangerous situation. They would take the green, and all 5 of them would go off into turn 1, slip, boom, 4 or 5 torn up race cars right there. So, but they ended up parking them on the front stretch.
Which, it's raining, and you're just having them sit there in the rain, and then Kurt is over there. Poor Kurt, he's getting soaked, trying to, you know, cover some of the cars from getting wet, and it's like, just pull them off the track. What are we doing here? Come up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're just kind of sitting there, you know, and I was over in Ben Stanley had run over there, and it's raining, and they got the junior bandits, and then the bandits are sitting in the staging waiting to go out, and it's just pouring rain at that point. And so I go running over there, and they were told, in, you know, the track officials that were sitting over there, they were like, we were told to just leave them here. They're going to wait for a window. And I was like, look at the ground next to you. Like, there's a puddle of water. You know, you can't send them out on this. There's no way. I was like, if you're going to race them, I was like, then I need to go get my daughter off the track, because I'm not letting her race in this. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I was like, if you guys want to do this, that's fine, but I'm not going to. And then they were like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I was like, let's roll them back over. Like, you know, it's going to take you over an hour to get this thing dry. You know, there's no way. So then they finally made the decision. They just, you know, let them come off the racetrack. They took all the bandits that were staging, and then they rolled them back around. And then, yeah, I mean, then it rained off and on for the next hour or so. And by the time it cleared, I forgot what was it, about 9:30, almost 10 o'clock by the time it got officially dry.
Yeah, something like that. Which, applaud the track crew, especially the fact that they got 2 tire pulls now, and, you know, some of the circle drag guys, and another guy in a dually. I don't know who it was, but we even went out there to kind of dry up the track, and did a fantastic job getting it dry pretty quickly. I mean, normally it takes forever, but you got to dry pretty quick.
It was pretty humid. Like, it was hot during the day enough to where I think the track temperatures really played a part in that drying out pretty quickly. Originally, they only had like two of the safety vehicles out there trying to dry it. I'm like, oh my God, they got to get more than that. Like, there's no way that track's going to dry in time. So,
yeah.
But yeah, Jake comes rolling in, and he was just trying to pull his truck in so we could load up a few of the things, because we were like, okay, well, let's just get some stuff packed up while we're waiting here, because as soon as they get done, we're just gonna, you know, have everything ready to go. So he brought his truck into the pits, and I was like, dude, let's go out on the track, let's go help them, you know, dry this sucker. And so we ended up taking a couple of the kids out and, you know, going to participate in what we could. And it's always funny, you know, when you go out there, and granted, you know, we get the luxury of being able to race that track almost on a weekly basis. And for those people that don't, right, they consider drying the track like their race. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to keep pace, and, you know, they tell you, you know, you need to at least do 45, excuse me, squealing, 45 miles an hour. And, you know, I'm trying to do that. And, you know, I'm used to being 4 inches off the ground, and all of a sudden now I'm like 4 feet off the ground in this humongous truck. And it's like, I'm getting a little woozy here. a little top heavy.
It is a totally different feeling when you're in a regular car being out there versus when you're like 3-4 inches off the racing surface. And you know, it was funny. We're sitting there looking at the speedometer, and you're doing 45 mile an hour, and you're like, you feel like you're moving, especially that high up in the air. And in reality, we're only doing like half the speed of what we normally do in one of our cars. So it's like,
we're doing like 70 through the corner, and I'm barely doing like 42, 43. And it's like, I'm like trying not to have my truck push up the track and hit the wall. It's like, man, how do we do this with 30 more miles an hour on a race car?
testament to how much fun those things are and what they're capable of, right? But anyways, the rain subsided, got the racetrack dry enough for everybody to participate, and they sent the bando kids out there right away. They wanted to get that thing rolling. I personally thought they were going to be done for the night. I thought they were basically just going to cancel some of the bando kids, and they were just going to try and get the Outlaws in right away, because about half to 3/4 of the stands pretty much well left, during that rainstorm. Pretty much there wasn't
the people that stayed.
Huh?
I said I applaud the people that stayed.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I really applaud those people, because they stuck it out and throughout the elements and everything. But anyways, so starting off with your Junior Bandits real quick, their main event. It was a good race between the top three competitors. Addie G, my daughter. I know I'm going to butcher this poor kid's name. That's why I'm going to look it up. Hold
Maverick.
on. Maverick, but I know, I forget his last name.
I know Val keeps telling me how to pronounce his last name. I
think
it's dumbass keep forgetting.
Arachiga? Is that how you pronounce it? I feel like
she's gonna yell at me next time I see her.
I know. I feel like a dick. I should have it known by now. But Maverick and Leah Almaswari, they were battling hardcore between the three of them. Addie got out to a lead, then the other two passed her, and then they were going back and forth, and then they were coming up on the 06 and a newcomer, the number 15 of Emmesley Roinstad. Totally brand new car. It was their first time out there competing. Little off the pace. I mean, that's to be expected for those young kids. And, they're dicing around traffic, and they're going back and forth, and they put on a pretty good show. I mean, the Junior Bandits did a really good job. Nobody had any issues, especially coming off the rainstorm. You were kind of wondering how wet the track surface was still, how it was going to be. And they all did a phenomenal job. And Maverick ended up getting around Addie with a few laps to go, and took win number 2 on the season for that young little kid. He's about
2 or 3.
yay tall. Huh?
Is it win number 2 or 3?
I think it's win number 2 for him, but I could be wrong. I think it was number 2.
Yeah.
Because I know he won the last race.
He's been kicking ass since he's joined. So
yeah, he's been doing a phenomenal job. It took him a little bit to get going, but now that he finally is, he's getting faster every week. It's fun to watch.
I don't know how some of these kids see over the steering wheel, because you look at them when they're going by it, and the top of their helmet barely over top of the steering wheel.
I think he's looking through the steering wheel at this point, like his hands are up here, type. So,
he's truck driver in it down here.
He's in the makings of a truck driver. He's got it down. He's on that simulator, at home, just getting the feel for it. That's funny. But congratulations to Maverick. He did a phenomenal job. It's fun watching that group of kids. They're all three same speed, super competitive. And then they go have fun after the races are over. So for the Bandits, they started off, Nora was on the outside, and Emerson Wenzel were on the front row. Emerson took the lead early, and then Isaac Mead, that little kid, he's crazy fast, that's for sure. He was your quick time winner earlier in the night as well. He ended up passing them both, and then it was kind of no look back from there. They did have a caution. Dale Bain ended up spinning out. They brought him back to the front stretch, got him rolling again, and then Isaac still got out front. The good battle happened behind him between the 44, the 07, and the 29. They were all kind of battling it out for second place there for a while. They all were matching speed and kind of trying to figure out how to get around each other, and they all did a great job. It was a lot of fun to see that battle go on as well. So congratulations to Isaac. I know, again, I'm always biased because it's my daughter, but I'm super proud of that little girl. She's taken some huge steps forward this year. getting faster, and she's dedicating herself to the craft and to the sport. And so I'm super proud of her. She ended up hitting the first time ever that she got down into the 15-second mark. So, getting better every week. And after it was over, we had sent her over to, into tech, and she was beating herself up pretty hard for losing a position and being on the podium. And it was like, man, you got nothing to be, no reason to, kick yourself in the rear. I mean,
One of the fastest laps ever.
Yeah, your fastest laps, you're competing hard. I mean, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, I mean, the fact is, matter is that you're showing speed and you're hanging with them, right? Like all the kids that have been running up front all season long, you're finally being able to compete with them. So that's what it's all about. Hopefully we'll keep that drive and have some more battles in the upcoming weeks as we get through the latter half of the season.
Yep.
So looking at the Outlaws, we have the top two competitors for this whole season. And then the kind of the storyline behind that has been Lillian Tuttle and Liam Hammond. I mean, they've kind of been the two top competitors in that division all season long. And, Saturday was no different for their main event. I know there was a question afterwards because they didn't really run them through tech because it was so late at night. And so I just ran over to the tech shed and I was like, okay, can we just get the kids out of here? Like it's 11 o'clock at night. Like, let's not do this tonight. And so I was running over. I was like, who finished third? Who finished second? Me. And I'm like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad. But
everybody's
yeah, exactly. But same thing with them. They're a lot of fun to watch. Got to give credit to Dutch Vanderwall for he's been getting faster and faster as well each week. And it's nice to see a lot of them competing hard and really working to make their cars faster, because it's, when you're in these divisions too, because everything's so closely related, just like it is in the Legends cars. You really got to find little things in each one of these things to try and, get the max out of them. So Lillian Tuttle ended up taking your feature win. Dutch Vanderwall finished second, and Liam Hammond ended up coming in third. So hats off to all them. I will hand it over to this guy to talk about the modifieds race, because I thought it was pretty interesting. And then we'll have something to talk about, maybe a little green flag, black flag session after we get done here.
Yeah. We kind of thought after the last race that we were kind of all guessing how many modifieds would show up, and we still actually had a pretty good car count. I think it was a total of 18, right? If I remember right.
It was 18. Yep.
18, yeah. And heat races, you can kind of tell everybody just from the Outlaw figure eights being there that, they're laying some big chunks of rubber down, and it was going to be a battle of who can control their car. What were you putting bunny ears on me back there?
Yeah. No, but he was just kind of like photobombing you. He's 2 IPAs deep.
Yeah, exactly. But it was going to be pretty much a battle of who's going to be able to hold their car and control their tire, and kind of the tire game. And that kind of showed in the main event too. And just from the get-go, you could just tell people were having to hold on to their cars and really, be race car drivers, really. Sometimes you could set up cars where, you just go out there and just hit your marks. But now you got to get up on the wheel, because you got to control yourself a little bit too. So kind of in the early going, when everybody was bunched up, it was kind of, there was some moments where it was a little pucker moments, but everybody kind of started to spread out, and you can kind of see some battles going on, but nobody really could hang on to that outside lane. Like I said, from the rubber down from the Outlaw figure eights, I just don't think really anybody could really hang on to it out there. But Scotty Scott started on the pole, and just,
I don't know how dry it really was out there either, because we were talking to CJ
Yeah.
about it, and he said he was a little. He was
Iffy.
second guessing himself on whether or not to put the car out there.
Right. Yeah. And
I called him a
you know,
wuss,
see,
but that was me.
yeah, right. But yeah, once Scotty Scott kind of got out and into a sizable lead, it was like, okay, let's watch second, and then Ryan Jones got into second and kind of got out a little ways, and then it was like third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh were just like right on top of each other, right on the bottom lane, and Cody Milan was in third, and CJ was right on his bumper, and then you had the 2 car on his bumper, and then Kyle Ray on his bumper, and it was like, okay, who's going to make the mistake here, and who's going to take advantage of it, right? And nobody really made any mistakes. Cody Milan, it was kind of funny. Some videos were going around on TikTok about an incident that happened early in the race with Cade. Make your own opinion of it. I think maybe Cody went a little deep, I think, on him, but at the same time, you know, it's racing. You bump a guy and move up and go by him, and you know, shit happens.
Well,
but
I mean, we could add to that. I mean, that's just him in a nutshell. That's just what he does.
Yeah.
He throws that car down into every corner as hard as he possibly can, and he tries to gain position on you. Do I agree with it? No, but you have to half expect it. You know, if he's at your bumper, right, you got to expect it.
You're gonna move up the track. And good on Cade Fox. He controlled his car well, didn't spin out, and kept going, and you know, slipped back into like 7th or 8th, I think. But then the kind of the battle between CJ and Cody it was on, and you know, you could tell CJ was getting impatient, and finally had enough and got him at least loose enough to where he went around him on the outside and finally got him. But really after that, it was kind of watching Scotty go to the white flag, run away with it, and you know, came home with the win. So super happy for Scotty, you know, especially in the Legend car. Finally got a win, and finally somebody beat Cade Fox. I mean, goddamn, it's like every week, the last like 5 weeks, it's like, you know, gotta love Cade. He's such a good kid, but it's like, goddamn, somebody beat him, would you? Like, damn. So
kind of got a bounty out on his head, more or less.
Right.
Somebody's got to beat his ass.
Right. So finally, you know, Scotty got in the win column. I think it's been for him 2 years in the modified, at least getting in the win column. So
I think
cool on him. Yeah, cool on him, and super proud of that team. They worked their ass off, and you know, best thing of the night with the modifieds, green to checkered. So it's not like they were holding up anything with the show. They went green to checkered, had a great race, put on a good show, and you know, again, Scotty with the win. Ryan Jones, I think, was second. CJ third. I think Cody ended up coming in fourth. And then bringing up the 5th place was
Eric Reed.
Eric Reed, that's right. Eric Reed ended up being 5th. So great race with the mods. Super happy that they went green to checker, and everybody took their cars home the way they brought them to the track. So
I was jealous.
Gotta love that. Yeah, a little jealous. maybe because we weren't there, they finally, everybody's like, oh, maybe we should calm down and maybe like run green to checker here.
Yeah, we're the ones at fault. Why all the chaos happened is because we were competing. No, you hit the nail on the head. I think it was a fun race to watch. Once it got rolling, there was some really good battles all over the racetrack. You know, I was yelling at CJ to take the high side to try to get around Cody Milan, and he just didn't do it. He was beating the crap out of that poor kid's back bumper and just couldn't get him moved just enough to get around him. And then he finally got him swirly enough to where he got to his outside, and then finally was able to make the pass. But
either dump him or go around him. Come on.
Yeah. And he was afraid to dump him because he knew what was going to happen at that point. But I mean, I'm just yelling at him like, man, don't be a pussy. Send it out there. Send it. Send it.
Just send it.
What do you got to be afraid of? Like, the track was dry, like you could see it, but just send it. Why not? Yeah. What do you got to lose? Nothing.
Well, like he said, after, you know, when we were in tech with him, you know, it was like, I've never really ran up there, so it's like, the rain and everything with the Outlaw figure eights. It's an uncertain line. Plus, when you're not really used to it, you don't really necessarily know how to drive it if you haven't driven it a whole lot.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of variables there that night that I could understand what he was talking about, but at the same time, it's like you're either going to beat this dude's back bumper off or just go where he's not.
Exactly. Oh, speaking of that, I do have to. I am really happy that didn't happen during that race. No ghost cautions.
You know what? I am super surprised because Scotty had I think he ended with like a 4.5, 5 second lead.
Dude, he
at
was
the end of it.
Way out front. Like it was.
But I think that's also how late we were running. Had we not had any weather and not run so late, might have saw one. But
100%. You know that. Yeah, 100%. They wouldn't have let him get that big of a lead and then not thrown a yellow, which is so disappointing because you knew that would have happened. But I'm glad it didn't happen because he deserved that win, man. Like 100% deserved that win. But
let every lap start on the pole. Very deserving.
Yeah. But anyways, congratulations to Scotty Scott on your feature win, first one on the season, and like Jake said, first one in a long while. So well deserved. Now on to the late models. They had a decent car count as well. They had 18 to start the night. Man, that kid Caleb Johnson, man, like holy crap. I don't even know where to begin really, but I do want to say, like, the competition is very stout within this division, and there are a few rising people that have shown some really big consistency over the course of this season. Had one newcomer, Zach Witherwex, ended up making his debut, and he picked up a dash win in his first time out in that car.
Jeremiah Witherwex.
No, it's Zach. It was Zach.
Was it Zach? I thought it was Jeremiah.
It was Zach.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So Zach made it out in his debut. If you all don't know, Zach has been a participant in the helping of the tech area for as long as we've been racing. He's been there. And I know he's competed on the Legends circuit in the past and whatnot, but it was really good to see him in a car, actually. He had kind of told us about it earlier in the season that he had a late model they were putting together, and it's still fun. And yeah, come out your very first night and get a dash win, and that's awesome. That's way awesome.
Yep.
But the other interesting part was, I got to bring this up, was Adam Hilton in that street stock.
Oh yeah.
The CRA street stock. So if you all saw that car and you don't quite know what it is, it's another version of a super stock, but a more souped up version. Their rules are very similar to that of like the modifieds. I would say you got to have like a factory stub, but you can change, upper A arms and all kinds of shit on that car. They don't use bump stops or anything like that, but it's a very more sophisticated super stock. Let's put it that way. Wouldn't you say? Is that a good classification?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, you could probably run them. I mean, it's not a very durable way of running with the late models, but I mean, it's a good way to showcase that type of car, that it can compete. And I know that Adam's a huge advocate of trying to get that CRA Street Stock Series to Colorado. And what a good way to try and go compete with the late models. And Lee Kemet is the owner of that car. And I know Adam said he reached out and was like, hey, can I drive that? And he was like, sure. So, hats off to him for doing that, because I think that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hands down. It was just really funny when I saw it rolling down pit road. I was like, what the hell? The super stocks aren't running tonight. Like, what are they?
Like, is he? I know. I thought that too. I was like, well, I know he's not going to run that with the modifieds or the Outlaw figure eights.
Yeah.
So I was like, he must be wanting to run that with the late models. So I was like, all right, I kind of want to watch this, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, as far as speed goes, you're not really going to compare to the late model and whatnot with that car. I think he ended up finishing like 13th or something like that in it. But
I think he actually had a better finish. Um, I think it was almost top 10. Yeah, but I know he didn't qualify very well, obviously. But
yeah,
I think in the end of the race, I think he actually did all right.
yeah, but it was cool to see it. Like again, that's a great way to like showcase something different. Something it's been around for a little while now, but it's something new to these parts, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's just it's an interesting way to bring light to it, and then also
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a wonderful idea because I would love to see, I would love to see that type of cars make a name stay for around these parts. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Oh, for sure. I think anything that we can try and do to bring a series like that. I mean, look at the Outlaw Figure Eights. Bringing that to CNS.
Right.
It's new stuff. The Pro Late models. It's bringing a new class to, even if it's just a one-off special race, right? It's
Mhm.
still something new and something that can be a fan favorite or a driver favorite.
Mhm.
To bring to CNS at least one time a year.
Yep. But I guess, anyways, getting into the late model feature, we didn't go over and watch this up close and personal, but I got to watch kind of like the highlights of it on low budget, and there was some really good battles. They had some cautions. There was there was one caution I think on like lap 6, um, and they had like a couple of 3 wide incidents with guys battling against each other, and gals, I gotta say, because I know that I know that oh god dang it, what's her name? Tessa Marine, it competes in that division as well. So I can't say that.
She's been doing well this year too.
She's been doing really well. She's shown a lot of speed as well. I know she finished top 5 this race. She's getting better and better. I know they're really starting to work on that car. I mean, we were parked right next to them, and they were hammering on that thing all night long, trying to get it more dialed in. Casey Wiggins, him too. I mean, he's been really stout this year. Brandon Newey, man,
He's been taking strides this year.
he is taking some strides this year, and he is your current points leader. I looked it up today. He is your current points leader. And
Dang.
then, huh?
I said, dang, congrats to him.
Yeah. I mean, by a little bit of a small margin, and like the top 5 in that division right now are within like 20 points of each other. So it's a tight battle for the top spot at the moment. But yeah, he is your current points leader. Back to the race. I mean, the car, there's 2 cars that showed tremendous speed. And it was Caleb Johnson and Eric Meisner. I mean, he's been fast ever since he's been back out in that division. I know that they've had their fair share of battles, him and the one car, and Friday night was no different.
Right.
Late in that race, Johnson had to do some. He had to do some. Oh, how do I want to put this? He had to be up on the wheel, right? Like he had to get up on the wheel and really handle that thing. The last probably 5 laps of that race. I mean, he really had to drive his ass off because you just never know. You make one small mess up in that car, and you can lose a lot of ground for sure. Especially with somebody as stout as like Meisner is. He'll get you at any point on the racetrack. So, but anyways, congratulations to Caleb Johnson. He was your winner. Eric Meisner was second. Brandon Newey was third. Casey Wiggins was fourth, and Tessa Marie ended up coming in fifth. So. Then on to the Outlaw Figure Eights. Now, they did end up running the Outlaw Figure Eights right after the Bando Kids, but we wanted to kind of save the highlights for last because obviously it was the premier show for the night.
Right.
Like I said, I think they had 15 that started the race immediately from practice. And I know when they started practicing on Friday, I noticed that they had changed up the tire. Traditionally, they've been on the 970 the last few years, and they were on I forget which number tire it was, but they were on a big fat slick tire, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And they were flat.
I heard it was a softer tires too.
Oh really?
Yeah, because there was a couple of guys that I guess they were not going flat, but the sidewalls were definitely flexing. Let's just say.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody will mention it here about what exact tire that they were on, um, but it did make for better racing, I think, overall for them. The 970, I'm not going to get all the way into it. I'm not a fan of that tire, to be honest with you.
Well, it just they they run a slick tire everywhere else they go
Everywhere else.
except for San Diego.
Yeah,
So I know that they wanted to at least get them on a tire that was similar to what they're normally running.
right. And I know this is the biggest racetrack that they typically run on. But who cares, right? Like they're taking the risk. They understand the risk of
Right.
what they're getting themselves into. But that's the whole point of it is they want that speed. And boy, did they show some speed. It was awesome. But there was I think it was Gastineau early in that race. He I don't know what happened to him, but caused caution early in that race. They got restarted. And then shit, they went what 40 green flag laps after that.
It was something like that. I can't remember because it was like 9 laps in, I think, when they had that first caution, and then yeah, they went a good stretch because Vandemeter, he was
He took off.
he just gone, you
Yeah.
know, and um, Jeremy Wall was up there and running his ass off, but it was kind of early on there. It was like nobody really had anything for him, and then shoot, late in that run, that 3 car just came out of nowhere, and started catching up by Jeremy Wall, got by the 22, and then caught the leader, and it looked like he was standing still,
Yeah.
like it was a lap car or something, and just took off from there.
Mhm.
And then that poor 20, I don't know who that 22 car is, but man, he had a rough weekend, and then ended up getting doored there right in the middle of the X.
Troy Hughes was the driver of the 22. He was sitting in third. And the 74 of Chris Curtis, him and
Oh,
Chris Curtis got into each other in the middle of the
hang
X.
on 1 second, I gotta check into the hotel.
No worries. You can put yourself on mute. I'll keep going. You can hear me though.
Okay.
Okay. Troy Hughes and Chris Curtis in the 74, they ended up meeting in the middle of the X. And the 74 got into the 22's door, and the 22 was able to keep going on in the race, but the 74, he went through the X and then stopped about in the middle of the backstretch, but I mean completely out of the racing groove. And like I said, there was less than 10 laps to go when that happened. And you know, I thought they were going to throw the yellow just because, you know, try to create some sort of intense battle at the very end of the race. But come to find out, the 74 ended up getting out of the car on the backstretch, and so they had to throw the caution because of that. And when that 22 came by, I mean, he was just like screaming and yelling and, you know, pointing at the 22. And you know, in my mind, like, I think at that point he was a couple laps down, the 74 was, and he's yelling at the guy who was sitting at third. You know, to me, I don't really know if that's warranted or not for you to like just be pissy with the guy who was running in third because he got wrecked. I mean, I'm not the biggest figure eight guy. I don't know all the, you know, the gentleman's play or gentleman's rules of figure eight racing. But to me, like if you're a lap down, you know the leaders are coming through the X, it seems like you should be the one to lift, not the other way around. Yeah, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe you guys have a different opinion or something like that. But if you're a couple laps down to me, you should be the one to lift for the leaders. So, but yeah, he got out of the car. They had to throw the caution at that point. It took him a few minutes to get cleaned up, and then they finally ended up going back green. I think there was like 6 laps to go, something like that. And so the three, let me get his name real quick. The 3 car of Mark Tunney, he was your leader at that point. He took off, And the battle then became behind him for second place between Jeremy Wall and I thought it was the 57. Yeah, it was Austin Tunney. Yeah, him and the 57 of Austin Tunney, they were battling it out for second. And the 3-car, it was like he took the white flag, and as he was coming out of their turn 4, our turn 1, he comes down through the X and crosses the start finish line, and he starts shaking that car back and forth. And you're like, oh shit, I think he ran out of gas. And sure as hell, that poor bastard leading the race, busted his ass, got all the way to the front, and ran out of fuel on the very last lap. So then the battle behind him, Jeremy was sitting in second, and Tunney ended up getting in front of him. And then that battle became between him and Austin Tunney. Austin ended up taking the lead, and then Jeremy was just trying his ass off to catch him at that point, because it was the last lap, last few corners, and he was a couple car lengths behind him. But Austin Tunney ended up taking the $10,000 and taking the win for the Outlaw Figure 8, show, night, whatever you want to call it. But it was a hell of a race. I thoroughly enjoyed the action in the X. They, there's a lot of butt pucker moments that happen throughout the night with these cars. I mean, they're going so fast, and you can't really regulate how much distance is between them that truly is, but from the angle that you're at, like, it just looks so tight. And it just makes for a fun, entertaining atmosphere. I mean, to me, that's true figure 8 racing right there. I mean, would you agree?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's moments where, like you said, butt pucker moments where it's like, oh, how did you fit that car through there? And I would never do that. I give it off to Jeremy and Chris Cox and all them drivers. Never see me in that car. But I don't know if I was trying to listen, but I don't know if you talked about after that 74 car got in the 22 about what happened there sitting on the back straight. Did you talk about that?
Oh yeah, we were talking
that
about
was
that.
I mean, I don't agree and like the fact that guy caused that caution that late. That ended up causing the 3-car to lose that race. But getting out and then start flipping off the whole backstretch fans right there, that was, I don't know who he was flipping off.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
That was just like, holy shit.
I forgot about that
Yeah,
part.
somebody was yelling at him. He was just double bird right at the stands.
And it was really funny because they were parked right behind us.
Across from us, yeah.
Yeah, we were right across from him.
You're mad at the 22, but yet I'm pretty sure he was a lap down at least. And that dude was in third at the time, and you T-boned his door, so he was actually through the X before you got to the X. So it's like, why are you mad at them? Like, that was your fault.
Oh, 100%. 100% was his fault. And that's what I was talking about. It's like, to me, it's like, I don't know what the common courtesy is in figure 8 racing, but it seems to me that if you're a couple laps down and the leaders are coming through the X, it's your duty to lift and let them go. Like they're the ones battling it out up front. You shouldn't be the one thinking you need to be catered to for what reason. I mean, your lap's down. Sorry. So,
especially with there was 4 to go, something like that.
So late in the race, and then you screwed your whole night, and you got a wrecked race car out of it. So smart.
Well, then after the race, he pulled his car up. He's across from us, but it's in it's on pit road.
Yeah.
So even when we were trying to leave, he was in our way. It's like, move your car.
Yeah.
Trying to get out of here, dude.
At least when mine was sitting on pit road, we had a really good excuse because I don't know, the front tires were completely off the car.
In the whole right side, so it's not like we can really move it.
Yeah, we couldn't really do anything about it. I mean, he was just so eager to get out and drink beer, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't even parked by the time he got out and was double fisted. Yeah. I don't know.
Something.
Looked like Stone Cold over there, shotgunning beers.
slamming on beers against each other and ah,
But
oh Lord.
anyways, great event. Again, I think it would just be it'd be a killer to see more of them. Like if you had 28 of those cars out there, it would be just an absolute stunner of a show. 15 is still a good amount, and I still think they did a phenomenal job putting on a good show. I would, just as a fan of it, you just want to see that. You know what I mean? You just want to see that many of them, and what the action would be like in the X, the entire race had you had that many.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that maybe next year, I'm sure they'll come back because it seems like it's going to be a name stay. It's the Battle in the Rockies or something like that. That they've
Something
kind of
like that.
dubbed it. Yeah. So I hope they do because it's an awesome show to watch. Last year I was watching it on low budget, so I mean I'm definitely hooked on it. I love seeing it, and hopefully they come back again. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what they got to do to try and entice more of those guys out east to try and come back this way, but I don't know.
Marketing. Marketing.
Oh, you think?
Post the shit on Facebook. Put it out there in the world. Sorry, dude. I don't know what about Iowa, man. That's
There's
just making me go.
it's the cornfields and scarecrows are getting to you, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, then you had the demo cross to end the night. I totally had forgotten that they were even racing. To be honest with you, it
Yeah,
was so late.
1 o'clock in the morning when they finally got done.
Oh yeah, I think we left at like what 1:15, something like that is what time we ended up leaving the racetrack.
Something like that.
Something like that. I know my ass didn't hit the pillow. I looked at it like when I get home and take a shower after every race, like get the off me, and then I lay down, and usually I'm still amped up from the night, so I look at my phone, and I think it was 2:15 by the time I hola.
Going to get beer and wings, so I got about 10 minutes. So.
Oh geez. But anyways, so fantastic night. Looking forward to it next year. We can quickly move on to what's to become for this upcoming weekend. So it is the super late models. Actually, hold on. Let me get the title of the races. It's the Advanced Auto Parts Night at the Races. That's the entitlement. That's a little bit less of a mouthful than what it usually is.
It's not Towers 2.0.
Yeah, Towers 2.0. Not this night, unfortunately. It is the super late models, the Pro Trucks, Super Stocks, Figure Eights, and the NOCO Model A's. I don't even know what that is. The NOCO Model A's. Please, somebody smarter than me, enlighten me and what the hell the NOCO Model A's are. I mean, I know what Model A is, but like, I don't. What is this? Something new? I have no idea. I've never heard of it.
Or is it like a halftime? They drive around the track, kind of like the VORAs did.
That could be it. But the super late models, Pro Trucks, Super Stocks, and Figure Eights are the main attractions for this upcoming weekend. Be interested to see how many super late models come out. I know that the Pro Trucks have been putting together a really stocked field. Super Stocks, always phenomenal. And then your Figure Eight guys getting back after it. So good luck to everybody.
That's a good lineup.
Weekend. Huh?
So that's a good lineup for this weekend.
No, it's a great lineup. It's. I mean, once we get done doing what we need to do, we'll have to tune in and check out what's going on locally at home. So, but this weekend, as you all noticed, Jake's obviously not here. Getting ready for the Hot Shoe 100 and the newly acclaimed New Shoe on Friday night. And since Jake is a new participant to the Hot Shoe 100, he is eligible to run in the New Shoe. So he's on his way there. They'll be there roughly tomorrow. and then I end up traveling on Thursday. That's when I'm headed out to the racetrack. So looking forward to that. Anything to add?
You and Mike will be there Thursday.
Yes.
No, just super excited for this weekend. It's going to be 70 modifieds there. They're going to have their version of kind of like a limited pro late model, I do believe, and one other class, I think. But the mini wedges, they're kind of like a Bandolero version of like those dirt modifieds slash Bandoleros, because they have like the Bandolero motor, but then they kind of look like those dirt modifieds that Chandler Gasser raced last year.
Yeah.
So super interested to watch those. Yeah, as George said, the new shoe and then the hot shoe on Saturday. It was kind of cool. Before the show started, Rex Wheeler, the owner of Owasso Speedway, they do a weekly Tuesday afternoon Facebook Live update from the previous weekend, plus a look ahead for the upcoming weekend, kind of like we do. And we got a couple of shout outs during that. And so that was pretty cool watching that, and gave us some love with that. So, yeah, that kind of gave me like, hey, right.
I do have to talk
Colorado.
about the events for Thursday night that are going on there. They got a car show going on Thursday night at Owasso Speedway, which will be really cool. And then on the racetrack itself, they have like 3 different style race cars that are 2-seaters. So drivers take around fans, you pay money, and you get a ride shotgun in one of these different cars. So they got a super late model, an Outlaws super late model, and then they got a modified that's a 2-seater as well. So they were talking about how they're cutting the price in half for this particular car show to allow fans and people to go out and hitch a ride around Owasso Speedway. So I was calling Jake after I had saw that whole Facebook Live thing, and I'm like, we have to put Mom in the side seat of one of those cars. And
I said that like
modified.
30 seconds before you called.
Because just so you all have context, this woman talks a lot of shit. She wants to know why we don't make certain moves on the racetrack and why it's so hard for us to pass. And you know what I mean? Like, she just doesn't understand.
You should have done that.
Yeah. Like, well, why didn't you do this? Well, I don't know. Maybe the car didn't work. Well, why didn't the car work? I thought you worked on it all week. Why didn't it work the way you wanted to? It just didn't. You know what I mean? Trying to catch a lot of flack from that woman. God love her. She's a huge support. Don't get me wrong. But so I just really want her to go experience what it's like to be in one going full speed, because she's never experienced that before in her entire life. Just to get her reaction of, oh shit, I'm sorry. I'll shut up now.
We won't say a word ever.
Yeah, ever again. I will not talk it. Yeah.
I kind of want to go ask Rex and beg him, like, can I please be the driver of this 2-seater modified so I can drive my mother around the track like Keelan did 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah. It just put her that close to the wall and just give her a really good feel of what it's truly like. You know what I mean? Put it up on the edge and scare the wits out of her.
Kind of like Dale Jr. did with his wife at Bristol, and get it sideways a little, get a little sideways.
When she was slapping him while he was driving at 125 mile an hour. Oh, you know, it would be exactly that. Exactly that. Oh, did we lose you? I think he must be in an elevator.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, we can hear the beeps.
Yeah, okay, hold on. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Can you see me now?
We can see you were frozen like this for a half a second. Yeah.
Was it my good side or bad side?
It was, you know, it was really funny. It was like your prison photo. You're here, and then all of a sudden you're here. You know?
I don't know what I want to think about that, but okay.
Oh, shit. Anyways, I know that you're getting ready to go to dinner, so if you need to drop off, no big deal.
Well, I do want to tell a quick story kind of something cool before I jump off everybody. So 2 weeks ago, when we were driving back from Owasso, we're in Nebraska, and we had gotten passed by some rat rods. And we stopped at this one gas station, and this guy we had seen on the road was there. So Mike, crew chief, master chief, went up and was talking to the guy and was like, "Hey, I see a New York license plate. Did you just drive that thing all the way from New York?" And he was like, "Yeah, me and some buddies that might have passed you guys already are driving to the salt flats for like the speed trial stuff." And we're like, "Oh man, that's a crazy drive." He's like, "Yeah, we ran into rain and I don't have windows, so I'm just getting water. And now that it's hot, I don't have AC, And he's telling us all about this stuff. And we told him what we were doing because he saw the trailer and everything. But um, obviously, after we left the gas station, off we went on our merry way. Well, lo and behold, small world, we're over in somewhere in Iowa. I don't know. We pulled over and got gas in somewhere in Iowa here. And Aaron switched into the driver's seat, and we're just about to leave the gas station. And he looks over. He's like, "Hey, that's the dude from New York with the rat rod, and he's got it on a trailer now." So we saw him open the door. I roll down the window. I'm whistling at him like, "Hey, dude." He looks over. "Dudes, oh my God, what are you doing?" Totally remembered us too because he remembered the trailer and everything. So that was kind of funny. Like, "Where are you going?" Like, "Oh, we're going back to another race." So yeah, totally small world, cool kind of thing that met this guy and then saw him going back. But we were like, "Hey, have fun with the air conditioning and windows," and he just left.
That is super small world, that the fact that you end up seeing the same set of people going, opposite directions back. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So
anyways, all right. Well, you go get some food. I will finish out the show here, and we will catch you next week when we have all the highlights.
I'll do my quick sign off. Good luck, everybody, this weekend. Racing here locally. Obviously, wish us some luck for this weekend. We're going to need it, 70 modifieds. But we're feeling pretty good and confident. But, we'll keep everybody updated with our Facebook post on Smith Family Racing. I'm sure George will say the same thing when he signs off. But wish me luck. Love you all. And, yes, have a good night.
All right, Jake Bob. We'll see you soon.
See you later.
All right. And there he goes. So, anyways, yeah, I will close this out here. I know we didn't get to talk quite as much detail into what we really wanted to get into for the night, being that they're a couple hours ahead of us now. They got another early day ahead of them. But one thing I wanted to bring up here really quick, actually two things I wanted to bring up. I know, speaking to the modifieds here, there was some talk on Saturday, and I got to give a huge shout out to Tim, Canada. We were talking to him on Saturday, and now that we're not racing at the current moment, he was talking about how, certain people not being at the racetrack, that he wanted to start, just checking things on different cars and checking things in general and from the tech side of things. And I know this is something that we've kind of harped on in the past, not only on this show, but just even in our garage about, just double checking things. And so to kind of give you some context here. So one thing they checked after the dash races was over on the modifieds was the roofs. And lo and behold, there was about 3 or 4 cars that didn't comply to the roof rule. And they weren't told that they couldn't compete for that night, but they were told that they needed to fix it before the next race. And spoke with the ones that were in question. I'm not going to name names, but talk to those drivers and crew people, and they were talking about, man, this has never been an issue. That hasn't been. I've had that same roof for 7 years, and this and that, and and from one standpoint, I understand it. From the other standpoint, is the rule's a rule, right? Like if it was, if it's in question, you need to fix it no matter what, right? Like I'm always been a proponent for tech to be stern and fair, right? Like it says it in the rule book, then you stick to it and you uphold the integrity of the division across the board. Doesn't matter, super late model, modifieds, whatever, right? Like you you have the rule book, you know what you're supposed to comply with, and the rule states it, then you need to fix your shit. So, but I understand that, we're halfway through the season and you're just looking at this and now it's just another thing. And the last thing again, that I don't want to see is that, somebody goes, well, I'm not going to go spend money or more money on time or whatever to fix my roof. I'm just going to park it. There's only a couple races to go, then screw it. And then all of a sudden you start seeing car counts go down and whatnot. That's the negative part, right? Like, you don't want to see that happen. But at the same time, you want to make sure that everybody's legal and you want to make sure that, everybody's playing by the rules. So this was going to be kind of my green flag, black flag. But again, this is something that we have kind of touched on. And again, you all that are watching this still, hopefully there's still a ton of you. I can't really see who's all watching, but, do you agree or disagree? To me, this could all be handled. And I've spoke up about this. I wrote into the tech email about this prior to season starting, that when you roll through safety tech, that's your opportunity as a tech team. And I don't know what happens behind the scenes with them. I don't know. I don't know if their hands are tied and they're not allowed to. I just know that I've spoke up about this, and I think this would just be the one way that you can eliminate some of the bullshit throughout the entire season, and things being in question, and help eliminate protesting on things that are, you can visibly see a roof, you know what I mean? And if it's in question, why do I have to go over and protest it in order to get something looked at or changed, right? But when you roll up to the racetrack in the month of April and you're practicing and they safety check your car, just check the car. I mean, each one of them, is it going to take a little extra time? Sure it will. But you know what? But that becomes the, that's how you get your car on the track. I mean, you go to some of these other racetracks around the United States and some of these traveling tour series, they won't even let you race unless you're compliant. Last year when I went to Birch Run and raced, the back of my roof was 1.5 inches. They put a level on it and it was 1.5 inches down from the level. And they said, no, that's got to be a minimum of 2 inches. It's got to be a minimum of 2 inches. So I had to fix it right then and there. They're like, you're not allowed on a racetrack unless you do this. So did it. But right there, preseason, you don't have to pull the rear ends apart, do all that shit, right? Like, just check the bodies, check the shocks, for God's sakes. Like, are they steel? Like, there's, you could whip out a car in probably like 20 minutes, 25 minutes per car if you're really going super detailed. But check all that. And then if there's something wrong, there's your warning. That's it. Like, hey, that's roof is wrong. You need to fix that before the start of the season. And that's your warning. And if you don't fix it and we catch you, then you're disqualified. There's no like spot penalty or, oh, next race you need to change it. No, that's it. You're done. That's DQ. We let you know. That was it. So that was the thing that I wanted to bring up. Like I said, I see both sides of the fence there on that particular issue. But again, I applaud them for looking into it. They're looking at stuff that they don't normally look at. Usually there's like 5 things for sale, or 5 things for sale. Sorry, I was just looking at a comment. Usually there's like 5 or 6 things that they check throughout the season, and you can pretty much well name it. Usually they check tread width, wheelbase, they'll check the fuel, they'll check the rake in the car and your spoiler. And that's typically about it. Like, one of those rotating things are what they check throughout the season. And, and here and there, they'll check to make sure you got a locker in a car. And I'm speaking on the modifieds division, obviously. Check to see if they got a locker in a car. They'll just mark the tires or whatever. But, but I think the integrity of the class is more important. You want to make sure that everybody's compliant, because then after the main events were over, they checked the rakes and the stuff in the car, and everybody passed. So fantastic. Hats off to everybody. You all passed, at least on that aspect of it. Go back, fix the roofs, get out there, get your asses competing. Stay legal, go have some fun and enjoy it. You always try to find the gray areas in these cars and what you're doing with racing. Understand that completely. That's the fun of it, is you try to find those gray areas. But when there's blatant stuff, right? Like, you should know, like, this is what it says. There's interpretations of rules. I get that. Those are kind of the gray areas, but in this case, then that's just what it is, and you just change it. And I don't think there was any pushback from anybody that I talked to. It was just more or less just a good talking point for this discussion for tonight. But like I said, I do want to give a shout out to Tim. The fact that he was more or less capable at this point in the season to be able to check other things on the race cars. He wasn't under lock and key, more or less. We'll leave it at that. So outside of that, yeah, I looking forward to see what the rest of the season has to hold. I do have I want to make sort of an announcement. We tune in next week. There are some things in the works for our show. Some possible key figures that we might have on the show in the next coming weeks. I'm not going to name names because I'm still working out details. I do have to give some thanks to a certain few people who have tried to, help us out and get things worked out to get in touch with these certain figures. But we'll have more information next show. So tune in next show. I know one's probably going to happen, but I'm really hoping for two. And I don't want to give anything away. I do want to keep it spicy. I want to keep you guys guessing. But you will 100% want to tune in when we make that announcement. As for our team, looks like September 6th, I'll probably be racing again. It's AAA night at the races for the modifieds. I'm definitely going to try and figure out something to be able to compete in that one. And then possibly before the end of the season, you might see me in another division, having some conversations with some other people. Been offered a couple things, and I'll leave it at that because it's not 100% yet. But you might see me drive a different race car besides modified this season still. So I'm super excited about that. And what else? I think that's about it. Kind of a short, sweet little night tonight. I know with Jake traveling, it's not our prototypical show, but we definitely had a lot to talk about. Hopefully this upcoming weekend, all you that are participating, hope everything goes smoothly. Hopefully there's no weather and really delay the night. I know that was kind of brutal. Getting home at like 2:00 in the morning. At least it was cool outside. I do have to thank for that. I wasn't sweating my ass off. I don't think I lost like 20 pounds in a night. So that was kind of nice. But this upcoming weekend, I'm definitely planning on it. I think I'll go down a whole pant size because it's going to be like in the 90s with like 78, 80% humidity in Michigan. So it's going to be kind of crazy. We made a lot of progress on Jake's car. Got some kinks worked out from the last race that he was up there at Owasso. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. I know he's excited. He's been struggling so far this year, with his health and everything. And this was the one race that he kind of had circled on the calendar. This was the one race that he wanted to make sure that he was prepared for and ready physically and mentally for. So I'm super happy for him to get to go out there and compete in this thing because it's honestly the best of the best. I'm going to try my best to get some interviews and stuff while we're out there. I might not go Facebook Live with it because I don't know what the service is like or anything like that out there. But try to get some recordings and post things on our Facebook and YouTube channels as much as I possibly can. So check back throughout the starting probably Thursday, Friday, and definitely Saturday. Try to get some interviews with some drivers. Maybe go up and talk to Mr. Rex Wheeler himself, the owner of Owasso Speedway. Super nice guy. I've talked to him multiple times before. I know he's watched our show a couple times as well. So maybe I can convince him to do maybe a 5-minute interview with me or something like that while we got some time. But if you guys aren't, go to their Facebook page and follow Owasso Speedway for all the coverage that they're going to have this weekend. You'll get to see right along and see how things are going. Obviously our Facebook page and all of our handles and everything like that if you want to. And then I think it's Track TV is the one that's going to be broadcasting the race. So if you guys aren't going to the races on Saturday night and you guys are going to be at home, get on Track TV and watch the Hot Shoe 100 and see if we can make it. The goal is to try and got to qualify in. That's the only way. So top 24 get to make the show, and out of 70 drivers, it's going to be a tall order, but 1/3 of the people are only going to make it. So hopefully we can get lucky enough and be one of the 1/3 of drivers to make that show. That's it for me. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate all the comments, the love, and everything, and the follows and whatnot. Yeah, check back here next Tuesday night. Jake will be home, I'll be home, and we'll go over the highlights from Owasso, from CNS. We are going to be doing some traveling this month as well. We're going to make our way out to Highway 92 Speedway out in Nebraska. Girls are going to go out there and compete in their bandoleros, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that on August 30th. So we'll have some highlights from there too. We need to kind of start touching on a little bit of their show, or their events and shows that they put on, because I know a lot of our locals end up going out there to compete as well. So we'll try and start highlighting a little bit more of that. But thank you again for tuning in. This is Hitting the Chip with Jake and Jordan. Give us a like, subscribe, follow, mention, everything. Help us get a word out there. And then be sure to tune in next week, because we'll definitely have some announcements to make. So talk to you all soon, and have a good evening, everybody. I appreciate you. Oh, here we go. I can't even do this correctly. Good Lord.